Hey guys, Coffin is Alive YouTube channel. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at an old comic book, Avengers #1. It's by Marvel Comics, came out in November 1996. It's written and drawn by Rob Liefeld. Jim Valentino helps with the writing. And Chap does some pages in here as well. So this was the first Avengers book as a part of the Heroes Reborn series that Marvel came out with in '96. Their comic books had been slumping, sales had been slumping. So after the Image guys all left in 1992 to go form Image, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson, Will Portacio, all those guys, they left Marvel and all the books they were working on, like Spider-Man, X-Men, X-Force, and they all jumped over to their creator-owned company that they started called Image. But like I said, in '96, comic sales were slumping in general, so Marvel spent millions of dollars to bring back Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee, hoping that they could recapture some of the magic that they had created in the early '90s around a lot of their Marvel properties. So they'd also tried to get Todd McFarlane to come back too, and probably some of the other Image guys, but they could only get Liefeld and Lee. So Marvel took the Avengers and Fantastic Four line, and using the Onslaught storyline in X-Men, they created this pocket universe so that they could have the Fantastic Four and Avengers in one universe and the X-Men and Spider-Man in another. It's a lot of like how they're doing the Ultimate Universe in a sense, because they've got two congruent universes going on at one time, which is kind of what they were doing with Heroes Reborn here. So they wanted a fresh start. Like I said, sales were slumping around Avengers and Captain America, Iron Man and Fantastic Four. So they were hoping that this would boost up sales, and it did actually. From what I understand, this Avengers comic is the highest selling Avengers #1 that's ever come out. Of course, we don't really have sales data from the early '60s, so we have no idea how much the original Avengers #1 sold. Honestly, it probably sold more than this book, but overall. But in modern times, this is the highest selling book. So we got Rob Liefeld on the cover here. We've got Captain America in his Heroes Reborn mask with the eagle instead of the A. If you've seen my review on Captain America #1 by Rob Liefeld, I've shared my thoughts on that. I actually kind of like this mask. So we've got these other characters as well. Swordsman, Thor, and Scarlet Witch, of course. Swordsman is a character that did exist in Marvel before, but he wasn't really an Avenger. So Liefeld has kind of repurposed him here as part of his Avengers team, just because I think he likes drawing swords. But I like the aesthetic here that we got a guy with a shield, a guy with a sword, a guy with a hammer, and a woman with magical powers. So, four very distinct characters with their own attributes. We got big steroid muscles here on Thor, big extreme faces. So now Liefeld's on the cover, but he actually doesn't draw the first 20 pages of this book, believe it or not. Now, it is a 40-page book, so it's a giant-sized #1 issue. But you'd think, Marvel's spending $1 million to bring in this all-star artist that he'd actually do the whole book. But nope, he gets his buddy Chap to do a bunch of pages in here. You probably recognize Chap style from the '90s if you've read any Youngblood, Brigade, any of Liefeld's extreme books. Chap did a lot of work on those. So we get this extreme, muscled Loki here, because this is how they're making their money in the '90s, But again, I just think it's kind of funny that Liefeld's not drawing this book right away. We paid for Liefeld, that's what we were promised, but that's not what we get. And as a kid, I don't even think I even really realized it, because these other artists that Rob gets, his buddies that he gets to fill in a lot of the time, they have Liefeld's kind of style. Although Chap Yaep kind of is combining, it feels like to me anyway, he's kind of combining Jeff Matsuda or Joe Madria's style with Liefeld's, and it looks kind of weird. So we're just meeting this Avengers team. We meet Wanda. There's Agatha Harkness. Here's the swordsman. Loki's kind of sneaking up on all of them. He's heard of this new Avengers team. He thinks it's this familiar thing that this vague notion that he's aware of, but he's not sure what they are. We see Captain America training here. Here's Hellcat, actually. She looks just like Liefeld's design of Feral, so I feel like he just repurposed Feral's design and said, this is Hellcat in Heroes Reborn. So Vision is on this team as well, so these layouts look very much like Liefeld, even though he's not drawing these. This looks like something Liefeld would do, with just these like random bars hanging everywhere and just the multiple poses to show that he's jumping around. We get a giant double splash page here. This is, again, not Liefeld, although we get some kind of Liefeld tropes like this lip, some of the faces looking very angry. I almost wonder if this was kind of a joint between Chap and Rob. But we got the shield in the background kind of bringing the whole image together here. Kind of a messy double splash, though. We've got, that's not Wolverine, that's actually Hawkeye. Although we know Liefeld loves repurposing that style. He's used it on multiple characters of his own, in some of his other extreme comics. We got Shield here. They actually find Thor in this ice, in this piece of amber. It's actually amber, they say, even though it's not colored like amber. It looks like ice. It's kind of the he's kind of pulling the Captain America in this book. So Wanda and Vision, they meet up here. Again, not real great pages here. Some kind of weird faces on Wanda, it looks like. So Rob does the final 20 pages here, and this is his first page in this book. Double splash here. Avengers into action. He says, Avengers assemble. Swordsman says, Ketchy, did you make that up yourself? So kind of the first time we see this new Avengers team. Not a bad drawing. You see toned down the Hawkeye mask here. It doesn't look so much like Wolverine anymore. He's like a alternate skinned Hawkeye, basically. This skin was actually in Ultimate vs. Capcom 3, which I think is pretty cool. The game, the video game, if you've ever played that. So then we get the Avengers here, and they've discovered Thor in the amber here. He's got this giant phallic, like, loincloth. So they're trying to break him out of the amber. Which is kind of funny. If you've read the most recent Ultimates comic by Dennis Camp, in that book, they've got Captain America in the ice, and they talk about actually breaking him out of the ice, but Tony Stark actually says, that could kill him. Let's not do that. But they do it here for Thor. They bust him out. We get this giant double splash page of Thor looking heroic. Ridiculous hair. Almost looks like wings. Super weird costume. I don't know about this thing. So we get finally the Avengers showdown with super muscular Loki here. And Loki's actually tricking Thor into joining him, of course, because he's the king of lies. So we get Thor versus the Avengers here, which is kind of interesting. In this first Avengers issue, we've got Thor attacking the Avengers, while in the first original Avengers comic book, we had Hulk attacking the Avengers. So it's kind of a similar story here, but with switching the characters up. So some just classic Liefeld right here. Just cross-hatching in the background. You know, draw the figure multiple times to show him jumping. That's an old school comic trope that Liefeld loves to utilize. She's actually being thrown by Thor here, so the old fastball special. Although he's using Hellcat as an offensive weapon against the Avengers here. I swear I've seen this drawing done before in a Youngblood or Brigade comic book. I like this power, this Jack Kirby looking power coming out of Loki here. It looks really cool. Captain America's trying to shield them from it. So Wanda tries to use her hex powers on Loki here. So Loki's spell backfires. They save Thor. And we get the team celebrating at the end of the book. Avengers assemble. So let the villainy tremble. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have too many thoughts on this book. It's average. It's certainly a very long story. Oh yeah, then we get this. This is a pretty infamous image here of Enchantress in her extremely long legs. It's extreme, all right. Now I've heard Liefeld talk about this. Kind of in defense of his own artwork, I suppose, which he seems to have to do a lot because people just love ragging on Liefeld. But he's called this is a stylistic choice of his. He's purposefully drawing, this to look, absolutely ridiculous. It's a comic book. You don't have to draw the figures to look realistic or proportionate. You can do whatever you want. And so Liefeld goes pretty crazy here. I mean, she looks like an alien, like half woman, almost like horse legs or something, or ostrich legs. I don't know. It's just a crazy drawing here. Nice butt there, but not a horrible looking face. I like the colors and the lens flare coming off of her headpiece there. It looks pretty cool. So, and we find out that Wanda is the daughter of Enchantress in this universe. So, big reveal at the end there, right? Yeah. And next we get Kang. So, an interesting time capsule of an issue for sure. So let me know what you guys think about this comic book. Have you read it? Remember it from back in the day? You think it's trash? Is it one of your favorites? Let me know in the comments. If you like videos like this, please subscribe and like. I will definitely see you guys later.